This real incident is the story of 2-year-old child Jamesbulger. So let's go to the story. On February 22, 1993, 2 boys, who were about 10 years old, were arrested and taken to court by Robert Thompson and John Venables. And the judge, after hearing their crime, decided to release them after obtaining an 18-year-old license. Can you imagine that what those 2 boys, who were only 10 years old, must have done, because of which they were arrested? So to know this, let's go back 12 days. On February 12, 1993, Robert and John bunked from their primary school and reached New Strand Shopping Mall, which they always used to do. That day, they stole some things from the mall, such as a Hummer, blue paint, troll doll, fish plate, and batteries. They were looking at the children closely. You can say that they wanted to make them their target. Their plan was to take a child outside the mall and push him on the road. Around 3:40 p.m. this afternoon, 2 mother and daughter are present in this mall. The child Jamesbulger and his mother Denise are standing near the bushel shop. Denise leaves James' hand when she has to give money to the butcher. After a while, when Denise turns around to look, James disappears from there. At the same time, at 3:42 p.m., John and Robert are seen in the CCTV camera taking James. In the footage, it seemed as if James was going with them himself. In those 2 minutes, John and Robert called James to them and brought him close to them with the help of a troll doll. Because children are attracted to toys, they used the troll doll to lure him. James also secretly went with them because he liked them. John and Robert also wanted to take another child, but his mother stopped them from doing so. Owen and Robert brought James to Liverpool Canal, which was 4 kilometers away from the mall. They dropped James on his face, which caused a lot of injuries on his face. The boys also joked about pushing James into the canal. A witness told that the child was crying very badly. The boys took James to Liverpool. During this time, about 38 people saw him, but no one intervened. There were only 2 people who asked him, so he said no. Either he is our younger brother or he is lost and we are taking him to the police station. John and Robert took James to the Welton railway track. They put the blue paint that they had stolen from the mall in James's left eye and kicked it, which caused James to fall. They kept pressing it forcefully so that James could not get up. They hit him with stones, tortured him a lot, and then put the batteries that they had stolen in his mouth and sexually abused him. Finally, they hit a 10 kilograms fish plate on James's head, which completely fractured his head. John and Robert put James on the railway track and put a heavy stone on his head so that he could not move from his place, and when the train passed over him, it was an accident. After he left there, when a fast train passes over him, his body parts are divided into 2 parts. 2 days later, a group of children found James's body there, and when the police arrived, the body was taken for postmortem. The doctor said that James's death had happened before the train collided, and he was also sexually abused because his shoes, socks, trousers, and underpants were missing from his body. The police took the CCTV footage from the mall and published it on national TV. When a lady was watching the same footage, she remembers that she is the same girl who had come from school in the mall that day. The lady reported to the police and charged John and Robert with the murder of James on 25th, 1993. Detectives and child pathologists questioned John and Robert a lot and asked everything in detail. All the evidence was presented in the court. The faces were not clear in the footage, so nothing could be proven, but the same blueprint was found on the clothes of John and Robert, which was on James's body. DNA tests have proven that there is James's blood on his clothes. The wound pattern on James's cheek was matching the design of his shoes. Still, the judge took 2 trials to make a decision. Until John and Robert were kept in one place for detention, Robert's parents used to come to see him every day, but John's mother used to come to see him every week for 3 days. The investigator found out what was the problem with these 2 children. Then Robert found out that he had been a traumatic disorder since childhood. He didn't know what was right or wrong, but he understood what was right and wrong. But still he did such a thing. But John Venables also had nightmares at night. He remembered all the murders because of which he was in stress. It was also found out that John Venables was inspired by Child's Play 3, which was released 2 years before this incident in 1991. And in a scene, paint was also used. It can be said that John used paint on James after seeing that scene. I don't know, but maybe children are inspired. In addition, Winnable's family had seen 200 such movies. After hearing all this, the judge sentenced him to 8 years in prison. On June 2001, he was released. Robert started living his normal life. But even after John left, he didn't stop committing crimes. He used to do everything and kept going to jail again and again. After the death of James, his parents were completely broken, and they had fights with each other about James's death. That's why they got a divorce and got married again. And now they have their own family. On March 14, 2008, James was made a gardener at the Scared Heart Primary School, where he would have studied if he hadn't been murdered. So today's case ends here. What lesson do we get from this? That even if children are watching movies like Chucky, it is important to explain to them that these movies are fictional, and they have no connection with the real world. It is important to put this in the minds of children, because what they see, their mind tries to adapt it. Something similar happened to John and Robert.
Perfect.